Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Fired up to have you on the show today listening because I've been talking to my guest and we actually had a little technical difficulty last week and we've brought him back and he's graciously said yes to come back and be a wonderful guest. You guys are going to learn so much about retirement. I'm ready to retire today, but I still got to wait. That's how much you're going to learn. We dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of a servant's heart, having that purpose in your work and your life. When you do that, you make an impact in people's lives, and it's the best feeling in the world. And how would you like get that phone call the next day? Go, you know, I took your advice. I'm flourishing. I'm just kicking butt. Trust me, it happens to me, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. Also, we're bringing guests that are going to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you, which my guests can do in so many different ways. While listening to the show, though, here's your homework. Think about how you're going to serve yourself and serve others today, and what impact you create today. Inaction is the worst action you can take. Take the action. Even if it's serving the wrong person, which really you can't do, just practice serving. Again, like I said earlier, it's the greatest feeling in the world. I want to thank our sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Join a community of high-income entrepreneurs and business leaders who are building this thought leader platform to help you grow and help others grow to make an impact in the world. So for more information on Pantheon, just reach out to me and I'll get you all the information. My guest is going to talk retirement. And guess what? If you're 40 years old, shut up and listen. I'm not saying that in a mean way because you're going to retire eventually. You're 25-year-old, you're 50-year-old. This is important because people go, oh, I hear retirement. I'm not there yet. You're there. If you're alive today, retirement's important because I've seen it. And my guest is going to talk all about that and some great stories he has. Larry, I want to welcome you to the show, my friend.
It's so great to be here. I really appreciate it.
What the heck does retirement really mean?
Yeah, well, we should retire the word retirement, or at least redefine it. It used to mean that you would work all your life, then you would play golf for a couple of years, and then you would die, and that was pretty much it. That's what my father did. And it's changed so much because, number one, we're living so much longer than our previous generations. Mm-hmm. And so if you finish work at 65, you probably aren't going to die till 85. 20 years is a long time to be playing golf or tennis all day, every day. So, when you're at your work and your career, you get an identity. We all identify with our careers as what we do. Ask anybody in a cocktail party, tell me something about yourself. First thing they'll say is, oh, I'm a doctor, or I'm a lawyer, or even if they're retired, they'll say, I'm an ex-doctor or a retired lawyer or something like that. And then I go, well, wait a minute, that's not what I asked. I didn't ask what you do for a living. I said, tell me something about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What turns you on? What's your purpose in life? Where do you get your fulfillment from? And most people got it from their careers. So when your career ends, you're left with this. It's like a play. You're from elementary school. We went from elementary school to junior high to high school, and then to college or an apprenticeship or an academy or the military or something. And then we made our way up in that position. If you're in the military, you went from private to general. Or if in a company, you went from supervisor to president or CEO. And then when you're done with that, you turn the next page in the script of the play, and it's blank. And you're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing now? Well, now you get to write the script for the next page, but most people don't know how and they don't know what to do and they're lost. And so what I do is I help guide people to figure out what they're going to do next in retirement. I have nothing to do with their money. The only effect I have on their money is I can tell them I can help them spend it, or and I can say, well, this is the lifestyle we've marked out for you. Can you afford that lifestyle? If you can't, then let's rethink the lifestyle or rethink your money. And so that's the only aspect of money, financial retirement aspects that I talk about. And the rest is up to their financial planner.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is like a business plan for a business owner, CEO, but this is your retirement plan,
Yep,
which you need to change and look at. And like I have an estate, I got to look at that yearly when things change. I love that.
Absolutely. It's dynamic.
So you've got an incredible story about going from selling your business to a sailor, what lessons you learned. Tell us that story.
Yeah. Well, when I was 13, I first stepped foot in a tiny little sailboat down in Long Beach, and I taught myself to sail. And then I came home and told my parents I was going to sail around the world. And they're like, yeah, okay, that's nice, dear. And 33 years later, I was a CEO of a company, and I sold the company, and thought, this is it. This is my chance. I can either take this opportunity and try to make this dream come true, or I can just linger and do nothing. And so I spent the money on a boat, some of it, and I spent the next 6 years sailing all the way around the world. And it was an incredible experience. I made my dream come true, which is not a lot of people can say that they do. And I sailed around the world, which very few people can say that they've done. And I loved it. The problem with that was I got home and I had completed my dream. And now what? So I was like what do you call it? A round peg trying to fit into a square hole, or vice versa, or one of those. And I was just wandering. So I actually wrote my book, The Boy Behind the Gate, which is a story of my 6 year trip around the world. And that did very well. And then I got on the speaking circuit and I did 2 TED Talks, and I was speaking about making your dreams come true and achievement, and helped, I think, a lot of people with that. But then I was still kind of, okay, now what else is there? I always want to do something. And, I had achieved great self satisfaction and self gratification and achievement for myself. But then there's that peak of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is, self actualization. And that usually comes from helping others, giving back, teaching other people how to do something. And so I was still looking for that fulfillment. And like an example might be, if I go out with my sailboat and I come back in and I dock it perfectly, well, okay, that's self-satisfaction. That's good. I know I'm really good at that. However, if I take you out sailing and I teach you how to dock the boat and we come back in and you dock it perfectly, that's actualization. That's makes me feel the best of anything. Yeah. So it was a coincidence that I got a call from a friend of mine who was a CEO of a big company in San Francisco, and he asked me if I could come in and give him a hand with some things. And I said, sure. So I get into his office and I said, well, what do you need help with? Finance or personnel or what? And he goes, no, I know all that stuff. I'm the CEO. And I said, okay, well, what do you need? And he goes, I want to know how you got out. How did you do it? How did you make that transition from CEO to sailor just like that? I says, oh, this is all I know is being a CEO. I don't know what else I can do or what I want to do. So I gave him some ideas. A week later, I got a call from a friend of his who was also a CEO. And same thing happened, and he asked me the same questions. So I thought, well, maybe I'm onto something here. And that was all the way back in 2014. And so I became one of the first non-financial retirement coaches in the country. And I helped start the Retirement Coaches Association. And I realized that I was early in the field.
Yeah.
like really early, like nobody was even thinking about that. They're going, wait a minute, you mean my money? And I go, no, no, no. What are you going to do with your time all day? Where are you going to find your purpose and your fulfillment? And that the rest is history.
That's a powerful way to start a new business by people reaching out to you and asking you, what's the difference between an 8 to 5 person working at Apple or your CEO friends? Is there a difference in retirement planning, or is it all the same?
No, everybody still wants purpose and fulfillment.
Yeah.
And so if it's the challenge is, I mean, I just wrote an article actually for a financial magazine. I can't remember the name of the magazine right now, but anyway, it's on my website, and it's about high net worth people, and do they have a different challenge than low net worth people? And the premise of the article is no, they all have the same, and everybody's looking for purpose and fulfillment, and to, the last years of your life, just let's wrap it up with a bang. Go out doing something, not just hanging around. The average retiree in America watches 4.5 hours of television a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, okay, maybe people in the movie business think that's great, but
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
personally, I think that there's other things that you can do.
Well, and that's a health issue. We won't get into that, but that leads to all
Yeah,
those different things
that's
that
different,
happens. And
and health is really important. That's one of the aspects, is that you now have more time, so you take better care of yourself, hopefully.
yeah, what's the misconceptions of retirement planning?
That when I ask people what are they going to do when they retire, they say, I'm going to sleep late, I'm going to play golf, and I'm going to travel. And then I say to them, well, then what? And they go, what do you mean, then what? That's enough. And I said, no, it's not. You can't play that much golf.
Yeah.
It's and sleeping in late lasts for about 2 weeks. So I get clients, they come to me after they've been retired about 6 months to a year, and they go, is this all there is? I'm something's missing here. And they miss their friends at work, and they miss the purpose, and the fulfillment that they got from that work. So we start over, and we have to find them a new identity. My goal is to have someone not say, I'm a retired so and so, but instead to say, oh, now I am and it's a new
Yeah.
identity.
Yeah. I worked as a doctor one time. Now I'm a coach for mindset. Yeah. That's a really
Yeah.
cool comment, because when you meet people,
Or if they work as a doctor and now they're doing Doctors Without Borders,
yeah, there you go.
or they're at a clinic or doing something, to give back. Because a lot of times I look back and we try to figure out, well, what are your skills? What are your passions? What is your knowledge and your wisdom?
All right.
There's a difference between knowledge and wisdom, right?
What is that?
The difference between knowledge and wisdom, and you'll never forget this. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad.
I will never forget that. That leads to the workbook, because you just taught me something. You're super excited. I'm super excited for you to tell us about the workbook and what you're doing with that.
Yeah, it's well, I have online a video course called Sail into Retirement. Takes you through 9 modules, and it's me with these videos, and there's homework, and there's questions on the online system and everything. But that's $95, and I wanted to make it more accessible to more people. So I did a book, wrote a book that's based on that, and it's called Your Ideal Retirement Workbook, and it's a step-by-step guide to finding purpose and fulfillment in retirement. And it takes you through, there's added material, so I think it's 10 modules that it takes you through. Gee, what should I do with my life? I don't know. And you end up at the end of the book with a plan. And there's tons of questions in there that ask you. There's a passion quiz to find out what you're really passionate about. And there's all these questions about, well, what do you like to do? And what don't you like to do? And what are you good at? And what are you not good at? What did you dream about when you were a kid? And how can we make that happen? And how can we apply your skills and your knowledge and your wisdom to maybe something else, in the future. And it's very, very helpful. It basically covers all the aspects, all the thoughts and actions that I know I went through when I retired from CEO. And then I actually took a year off and reverse engineered all those thoughts and actions that I went through. And that's what went into the Sailing to Retirement and into the book. So
Very, very cool.
it's very helpful. It doesn't, and I said, doesn't talk about anything financial, and it doesn't compete with financial planners for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
This is agnostic to age, meaning if you're 40 years old, you should read this, even if you're 80.
Even if you're 80, you should do it, because you can. It's never too late to be who you wanted to be.
Yeah.
Never too late, and it's never too early to start, because if you're 40, you start thinking about it, and you're planning, and good planning, might involve your financial planner. So I do work
Yeah.
with financial planners where they bring me their clients. They say, okay, I've done the finance part, but they're asking me all these crazy questions, Larry, like, what should I do? And I'm like, and the financial planner's like, I don't know. So we work together very well, actually. It's very symbiotic.
Yeah, it's definitely a great partnership because they don't want to delve into that anyways. And you don't want to get into their finances because
No, I
you're
know
not an
nothing
agent. You're
about it.
not, yeah, that's not, you know nothing about it. It's about the mindset. Talk
Yeah.
about speaking, because I know you love speaking. We're coming to the end here. You've
Yeah.
done 2 TEDx talks, like you mentioned. What do you love about speaking?
What I love about public speaking, is that I can have an effect on people. I can have them listen to my message about achieving things and about making their dreams come true, and other topics, leadership as well.
Mhm.
And when I'm speaking to a group of people, then I get to affect more than just one person. If I do it effectively. If I'm boring as a speaker, or if I don't really have a good message because didn't know how to plan out my speech, or if my stories are too long and boring and I lose the audience, then that's not effective. So that's why I've got this new division of my company called Own the Stage. It's ownthestage.org. And it's where I coach people on how to become better speakers.
What's the feeling? Think about one of your best speeches you ever did. When you got done, what kind of feeling was that like?
Oh my gosh. That has to be my first TED Talk, which was called Passion Trumps Fear. And I was all about how passion is bigger, is stronger than fear, and it will guide you through the worst fears that you can have. And that's because I was very afraid a lot of times on my sailing trip around the world. I
Oh,
mean, we dealt with 60 knot winds and 30-foot seas in the Red Sea. I mean, there's all kinds of stories in the book about that. But the feeling was that there were 400 people in the audience, and that I had an effect on all of those people, I think. And was I scared giving the speech? Of course, everybody is when they're going out there. I mean, but I taught in the speech. I teach people how to deal with their fears, and
yeah.
so I used those methods, and I had butterflies, but it was very effective. It was good.
Yeah, I learned back in my football days, if you don't have butterflies before a game, then you don't care.
Then you don't care. You're not thinking.
You cared so much to put out a good because you had those. I want to be the best, and it's a
And
great sign.
yeah, and fear is nature's way of making you focus on the task at hand.
Yeah,
And it's just,
yeah,
it's that old fight or flight thing. And so
yeah.
yeah, I teach that in my speaking and my coaching. And yeah,
And
love
people
it.
can reach out to you as well. We'll get your contact in a minute here. Reach out to you to have you speak at their organization or event, right?
Absolutely. I do a fair amount of public speaking, and I love it. And I every speech I give is customized to whatever group I'm talking to.
Right.
Yeah.
And fortunately, unfortunately, every group has to talk about money because money is a big part of everything that we do. If you don't have money, usually it's not good. If you have a lot of money, sometimes it's not good either. Depending on how you use the money with your retirement. Because I've talked to people that are like, oh yeah, I made millions of dollars, and retirement comes, they have $100,000 left. Where did it all go? Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot I'm retiring.
Yeah.
That's where Larry comes in to save the day. Um, I've got a great question I love to end with. So I've got a reservation where you live at a restaurant, table of 4. Who would you invite? Of course, you sit in one of the chairs. You have 3 empty chairs. Who would you invite, whether dead or alive, to the table, and what food would you order?
Oh, I would order, start with some salad of caprese salad. I would then move into linguine with clams, and then I would go with some brandizo or Chilean sea bass, something like that, um, and a nice Chardonnay. And then I think we would do some gelato for dessert.
What a meal. I mean, we'll still invite some people. That's a hell of a meal.
And then I would have, who would I have there? I would have, well, I'm one of them, right? I've got 3 left.
Yeah, 3 left.
It can be anybody.
Anybody you want. This is your table.
Would be Michelle Obama, and it would be Jamie Raskin and my mother.
What a table.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That would be a really powerful table.
Yeah, we'd learn a lot in that table. That is for sure. You are a retirement king because you have passion for it. I thank you so much for bringing us the passion, educating us. I've got notes here. I'm excited to learn to get the book and learn more about retirement myself because I'm getting to that age and it's so important. You know, it's a topic that's kind of pushed aside, like, I'll take care of it later. No,
that's right.
Like I said, serving, don't wait. Today, start working. He's not saying to do your whole plan in 15 minutes. Just start it.
That's exactly
right. Get it off the start and reach out to him, obviously, to get some advice and help with that because it's unique. There's not a lot of books out there that say, how do I, or Google video, YouTube videos that go, how do I retire? Go from the guy that's already retired, that's done it. People listening going, this is so awesome, but they want to reach out to you. How can they find you?
Yeah, easily. My name is Larry Jacobson, spelled with an S-O-N, and it's LarryJacobson.com. So that's the website. And if they write Larry at LarryJacobson.com, it'll go directly to me.
Interesting.
And
simple retirement.
Huh?
Guys, just say interesting. Simple retirement. Simple way to connect.
Yep. And the other one is ownthestage.org. And they can write Larry at ownthestage.org.
Beautiful. And the books, where can we find them?
On Larry, well, they are on Amazon and everywhere else. But if you go to my webpage, LarryJacobson.com, and click on the author tab, then that will have a link directly to the book.
Perfect. So reach out to him if you want to speak or learn to speak, or because speaking is a great way to brand yourself. Look what he's done.
And I think people will be surprised at how fast I can make have an effect on their speaking ability.
Those are magical words. Fast is a good word. I love that. Okay, with that being said, audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's such a wonderful way to connect with Larry, but also to share Larry. These are gifts. So go ahead and share these gifts with people, and you're going to truly love it. Any podcast that resonates with you think you can help others. With that being said, I want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.